It's the sure sign of a good time. The just right taste of Bud Light. Here we go.
It's time for this week's picks on 101sports.com.
Welcome on into this week's picks with Randy Karraker. I'm Tony Softli. Randy, I got to tell you, let's look at the Redskins defense, mainly because we know Jim has it real well.
He finally has those two outside linebackers that he has wanted for a long time, doesn't he?
Long time.
With Arakpo and then Ryan Kerrigan, their first rounder out of Purdue, who are getting a lot of pressure on the quarterback.
You know what, London Fletcher is a guy to me that's been defying age. You know, you look at the number, you look at the stats, and you look at his age, and you're going, man, that just doesn't add up. How was he compared when he was here with the Rams as he is now?
I don't know if he's lost a step. There aren't many people that get from their spot to the football quicker than London Fletcher does. What's different about London now is that he's a smarter football player than he's ever been. He diagnoses and gets to the ball, and he doesn't have to use only his raw athletic ability. He has a great idea of where the ball is going, and he's clearly the leader of that defense as he became here towards the end of his time here in St. Louis.
Absolutely. You know, you look at the Josh McDaniels offense, it's been sputtering a little bit. Steven Jackson's back in the lineup. How do you think that they line up and compete with these guys this weekend?
I think it's going to be pretty tough when you look at what Barry Cofield has done in the middle so far. And did you think Barry Cofield was a nose tackle? I never really looked at him as a nose tackle in a 3-4.
I thought he was a 3 technique the whole time. I've been watching tape. This guy's pretty good. I mean, he's stacking the point of attack, and he's very, very aggressive.
He is. And then Adam Karraker has played reasonably well for them at the left end. So I have concerns about the Rams' ability, if it's not Steven Jackson, to run against them. And one guy we don't talk a lot about because of all the other names on their defense is Rocky McIntosh, who's a pretty good run defender as an inside linebacker. That being said, if the middle of the Rams' offensive line can do a better job than they've done lately, specifically Bell and Brown, they have not been good of late. If those guys can get Steven to the second level, I think Steven matches up well with what their linebackers bring to the table.
I totally agree with you on Rocky McIntosh. Very active, very instinctive. He and London are a very good combination inside. The one group that is suspect for me is the secondary. I'm watching the Atlanta game. I'm watching a couple games and looking at these guys. They're getting thrown on. You have Hall on the outside. You have O.J. Atogwe, who used to play here, team captain. But they're getting thrown on. I mean, there's alleys and there's passing lanes out there that are really vulnerable to be attacked.
If D'Angelo Hall would play like he talks, he would be in the Hall of Fame. But we saw last week against Dallas. They threw on him again and again and again. Now, granted, they were doing it with Dez Bryant, but he is a vulnerable player. The key for the Rams, as far as I'm concerned, is they're going to have to adjust and get the ball out of there more quickly. They can't be dropping seven-step drops. It's got to be 3-step drops, get the ball out, get the ball to your receiver, and then let him do the work after he has the ball in his hands. Especially against a team like this, I don't think Bradford will be standing with 5- and 7-step drops.
Yeah, no, they got to get the ball out quick. I totally agree with you. And I think Steven Jackson, SJ39, his fixture, his presence in that backfield, I think will open up some things. As long as they get him some screens, some draws, some powers, whatever they're going to do. But there's got to be a little bit of a run game in order for that to happen. Let's do our picks. What do you think?
I just don't, based on what I've seen, I don't think the Rams will be able to stop the run. And with Steven Jackson back, I think they'll be able to put a few points on the board. 1 touchdown for the Rams offense in each of their first 3 games. I think they'll eclipse that this year, or this week. I think the Rams will put 17 on the board, but I think it's going to be hard for them to keep the Redskins down. I think Washington wins at 24-17.
That's interesting you say that, because I'm going to go again for the second week in a row with the Rams. I'm throwing it on the line here, Randy. 24-23. I think it's going to be a close one. Only giving them that nod because of home field advantage.
I would love to see the fans have an impact too.
For Randy Karraker, I'm Tony Softli. Don't forget to check out 101sports.com for all the updated information. See you next week.